all of you, and good evening to me. I'm speaking to you from Costa Rica, a very dark night here in Costa Rica, where we're actually having a blackout. And the only reason why I can speak to you and I have some light is because I'm relying on batteries from solar power. So there you are. How wonderful here. I must say, I am really excited about this plan. It just fits so beautifully into answering a question that I have had for years, which is, why is Australia not the leader of renewable energy and renewable powered industry in the world? There honestly is no answer to that, or at least no serious answer to that, because you are sitting on all the renewable energy sources that there are. You have such a capable labor force. You have the world's largest growing market right in front of you. It's just, honestly, it's very difficult from the outside to, yes, I know that there's politics involved. I'm not unaware. But even so, it's very difficult to understand that there is place for that political position when everything else from the real economy dictates otherwise. And just for you all to know that you are not the only ones. There are country after country that is truly understanding that, especially now, coming out of the health crisis and moving into the economic crisis, how to get out of this economic crisis, it is being increasingly understood that precisely now, when there's a breakdown of the old economy, that is when space is made for the new economy. Yes, we're in the worst crisis that we've had since the Second World War. Precisely because of that, there is space. Think of it of when a very large tree falls down in the forest. What happens then is that it makes an incredible amount of space. It brings in so much more light that wasn't there before for new growth. That is what is happening right now. Yes, we're still in the pain of the tree that is falling, but as it falls, it makes space and brings in light for so much new growth. We cannot afford to build back. I continue to hear the build back message. Even if it's followed with better, we can't afford to build back. We have to build forward. That is the only way that we're actually going to get ourselves out of the mess that we're in. Now, the EU has actually very well understood this, and I'm going to talk about the EU, let alone what Germany is doing separately, what Spain is doing separately, what the Northern European countries are doing separately. But just to give you a flavor, the European Union is looking at a recovery package that is going to put in $90 billion into home efficiencies, 25 billion euros into renewable energy, 20 billion into clean transportation of vehicles, 60 billion into clean trains, and they're going to be creating and producing 1 million tons of clean hydrogen. If there is a country that is positioned for clean hydrogen, it is Australia. And that is the market that is emerging out of the vision into the future. That's why Europe is going into that. That is why Europe, with this recovery plan, is creating 1 million jobs and is, of course, funding also a just transition fund, because it's important to take all those workers who have been for years, if not decades, at the service of especially the coal industry, to say nothing of oil and gas, but take them with us on this journey into the future. So I'm very excited about this report. Every time something dramatic happens in Australia, I keep on thinking, right, this is when Australia is actually going to make the bend in the curve. And I hope that this is it. I hope that COVID has woken us up to understand that there will eventually be a vaccine for COVID, but there is no vaccine against climate change. Hence, we have to have recovery plans that plan for the future. I hope we understand that because we're now no longer in linear and gradual transformation, but everything is exponential, and you've seen that in the past 2 months, we don't have any time for timid approaches about the transformation of the energy sector. And particularly, and this is the message that I really want to lay at your feet, if countries are going to go into debt, and the European Union will go into debt for the COVID recovery, then let's understand that that new injection of capital is capital that is going to be injected now, but is going to be paid for by future generations. Hence, that capital has to be invested in the interest of future generations, and not with the perhaps unintended but very clear consequence of robbing future generations from their future and from their well-being. So with that, I congratulate the authors of this report. It's a very exciting report, and I am crossing all my toes and all my fingers for this to be the moment when Australia really is finally going to take the bend in the curve and move in the direction of renewables.